The most beautiful hands. Long ago, in a time when elegance and leisure marked the lives of the wealthy, a group of rich and graceful women gathered by the tranquil banks of a sparkling river. They had come to enjoy a delightful picnic, basking in the warmth of the sun and the cool breeze that whispered through the trees. As they laughed, dined, and relaxed in carefree merriment, their surroundings reflected a picture of contentment. After a while, they walked to the river's edge to wash their hands and feet in the cool, crystal-clear water. As they leaned over the shimmering surface, their reflections stared back at them, delicate, well-kept faces and slender hands glistening in the light. Captivated by their own images, they began admiring themselves aloud. "Look at my hands," one of them said, lifting her smooth, fair palms into the sunlight. "Aren't they beautiful?" Another woman, glancing at her own fingers with pride, replied, "Your hands are nice, but mine are even more exquisite." Not to be outdone, the third woman interjected, "You both have fine hands, but mine are clearly the most beautiful." Their friendly admiration quickly turned into a heated debate. Each woman claimed her hands were the most beautiful, and none would yield to the others. As their voices rose, an elderly woman happened to be walking nearby. She was frail, hunched over with age, and leaned heavily on a worn wooden stick. Her clothes were old and dusty, and her face bore the marks of hunger, fatigue, and years of hardship. One of the rich women suggested, "Let us ask that old woman. She can be the judge and tell us whose hands are the most beautiful." The others agreed, intrigued by the idea. They called the old woman over. When she approached, the women extended their hands before her and asked, "Tell us, whose hands among us are the most beautiful?" The old woman looked at them, her voice weak and trembling as she responded, "Dear ones, I have been walking a great distance. I am tired, thirsty, and haven't eaten all day. If you could spare a little food and water, I might have the strength to consider your question properly." Instead of compassion, her request was met with scorn. One of the women frowned and snapped, "We didn't call you here to beg. Just answer our question, or be on your way." They turned away coldly, ignoring her need. Not far from them, a poor woman had been working in a nearby field. She had seen everything. Without hesitation, she walked over to the elderly woman and gently led her to a shady spot under a tree. She helped her sit comfortably, opened her humble lunchbox, and shared half of her meal and some water. Once the old woman had eaten, the poor woman lovingly washed her hands and feet, then dried them with her own scarf. She invited her to rest in the shade, speaking softly with kindness and care. From a distance, the rich woman watched the entire scene unfold in silence. After the old woman had rested, she rose, her stack